Hello my scholars, welcome to my school channel. My name is Alexandra. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the consonant sounds, specifically the approximants. So we're going to be looking at the meaning of approximants. Approximants are also classified into two parts, into two groups. We're going to be trashing all of that in today's lesson. So please stay with us, do not go anywhere, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to my school channel. Do not forget today's topic is the approximants. The approximants are consonant sounds. So today's objectives have been outlined. The first thing we're looking at is the meaning of approximants. Next is the classification of approximants, that is liquids and semi-vowels. Next is how to articulate and describe each sound, that's each approximant sound, Lateral, ya. Letters of the English alphabet that can possibly represent each sound. Then we'll take a look at examples of words that have each vowel sound. And lastly, we'll transcribe words, okay? So let's start with the first objective, which is the meaning of approximants. The approximants are sounds that are similar to vowel sounds. So they are partly consonant and partly vowel sounds, okay? So they behave like vowel sounds in the sense that in their production, there is a minimal obstruction or no obstruction at all in some cases, okay? Minimal obstruction of free flow of air. There's a minimal obstruction, and that is why it is classified as a sound that behaves like the vowel sound, okay? So in producing the approximants, the articulators approach each other without causing friction, and the air is able to flow almost completely free. Now, when we talked about consonant sound, we say there's a partial obstruction or a total obstruction, which is characterized by pressure or friction. But in this case, there is no pressure, there's no friction, okay? It's almost like you're producing a vowel sound. So there's a free flow of air when producing these sounds, okay? All approximants are voiced, okay? So more reason why it will look or sound like the vowel sounds. They are all voiced, so there's no voiceless counterparts, okay? So the approximant sounds are classified into two groups, liquids and semi-vowels, okay? They are further classified into two groups, liquids and semi-vowels. Then next, the approximant sounds are w, and y. Okay, so for to aid remembrance, we say Lateral, ya. Okay, Lateral, ya. Okay, so let's move to the next objective, which is taking a look at the classification of the approximants. And like I said, the classification of approximants include liquids, and r, then the glides or semi-vowels. So it's either called glides or semi-vowels. Whichever you choose is appropriate. Okay, and we have w and y. Okay, so we are going to start with the liquids, okay, and we'll talk about each of the sound. Okay, so liquids. In its articulation, there is a minimal obstruction in the vocal tract, and the liquids are further divided into two groups. They are lateral and rhotic. So lateral is sound and rhotic is r sound, okay? So they are further divided into two. They have a special name. We have a special name for this and a special name for this also, but they are both liquids, okay? So let's start with the first one, which is lateral. How do we describe lateral? Okay, so the lateral, how do we describe it? This is a voiced alveolar lateral sound, and in its articulation, the tip of the tongue is raised to the roof of the mouth, is raised to the alveolar ridge, okay? There's a light contact, and there is no friction, no pressure, and so air has to pass through the sides of your mouth, the right side and the left side. So we have, so there is no pressure, no friction, okay? So it's a light touch on the alveolar ridge. The tip of the tongue comes in contact with the alveolar ridge and it produces the sound. Okay? So we have the sound in the initial position. We can find it in the initial position as in look. We can find it in the medial position as in taller. And we can find it in the final position as in pull. Now let's take a look at the letters of the English alphabet that represent the sound, and then we'll take a look at examples. Okay, so the letter of the English alphabet that represents the sound is letter L or LL. Okay, it could be L, it could be LL. Okay, so we have it in the word ball. And it is in the word sealed. And we have it in the word belt. And we have it in the word jail. We have it in the word follow. We have it in the words silent, only, and color. Okay, so you can find the letter of the alphabet in words like this, but then they would not be articulated. So do you have the letter L, and the L is silent. We don't have an L sound in this word. So if we have to transcribe these words, we transcribe this like this, ham, and it is articulated like that. It is pronounced like that, pam. Okay? Walk, yoke, could, should. Okay, so you need to be careful. Sometimes you can have letter L and it will be silent. Okay, so let's go to the next liquid sound, which is the rhotic sound. Now, how do we describe and articulate this sound? This is a voiced alveolar approximant. We understand what alveolar is. It comes in contact with the alveolar ridge. But in this case, we have the lateral as an alveolar sound. When we talk about the place of articulation, it is alveolar, also alveolar. So it would not be easy for us to distinguish between and if we say this is also a voiced alveolar approximant. So don't forget that the lateral sound is also an approximant, and so we'll use this unique name to classify it or to describe it, and we'll use approximant to describe this, or we could either say rhotic, okay? Voiced alveolar approximant. So you know you can differentiate between the two. When they say voiced alveolar approximant, you know that, okay, this is ro, and when they say voiced alveolar lateral, you know it is this one. But they are both approximants, okay? So that's the description. Now when we talk about the articulation, the tip of the tongue comes close to the alveolar ridge, the roof of the mouth, but it doesn't touch it, okay? Unlike the lateral where there's a light contact, but for the ru sound, it doesn't touch it. And then the tip of the tongue vibrates. So we have okay? Okay, so we have the sound in the initial position of a word. We can find it in the initial position, and we can find it in the medial position, but it does not exist in the final position. Please take note, we're talking about sounds, not letters. We can have the letters of the English alphabet, letter R, ending a lot of words, but we do not have the sound at the final position. So let's take a look at more examples of words. We have the word roll and the word lorry. Okay, so we'll take a look at more examples of words. Let's head over to the board. So we have letter R or RR, okay? And we have it in the word raids. We have it in the word rock. We have it in the word carry. We have it in the word erode. We have it in the word during. We have it in the word barrel. We have it in the word garage. Okay, we could have a D here, bracket. And lastly, we have it in the word parade. Okay. So these are the transcription for these words. You can find more examples of word with a real sound and try to transcribe that. So next is the glides, or what we call semi-vowels. But we're going to stop right here. This is the end of the short version of this video. There's a longer version which you have to subscribe to. All you need to do is you click on the link in the description below. It takes you to the My School website. There you have to subscribe for the longer version. Please go ahead and subscribe so you can enjoy the rest of today's objectives. Thank you for joining us. Do not forget to hit the like button, click on subscribe button, and lastly, tap on the bell notification to get informed as soon as we release the next videos.